Skilled season, a time of year when a woman can awake with 3 black lines on her forehead and turn anyone she sees into stone. So I read that in the synopsis of the book we're going to talk about today, and I didn't even care what the rest of it was about. I was like, oh yeah, I'm reading this. It was definitely a sleeper. It was discovered by what I like to call my book radar, or we could call it Sindar. Sindar, that sounds kind of dumb. We'll go with book radar. It's called A Curse for the Homesick, and that is by Laura Brooke Robson. Never heard of this author. The book cover was pretty unassuming, and yeah, I just picked it up. I kind of liked the name on it and read that in the synopsis, and I was like, all right, well, you've got me. So it follows the story of the 3 main characters. The main character is Tess, and then there is Kitty and Linnea, and they grew up on this small little island called Stenland, and it's somewhere between Scotland and the Arctic. On this island, randomly, at certain times of year, the Skeld season will happen, and 3 women will somehow randomly be magically chosen, where they will, if they're not, sequestered in this little tower and area where they have keepers that watch over them, like if they're let free, anyone that they look at will be turned to stone. And so this has been going on for who knows how long and never seems to end. People of the island always kind of said like, oh, you 3, sometime that's going to happen. And so Tess was like determined that she would leave the island and never return and all of that. Her mother had woke up and hadn't looked in the mirror and had been careless and gone out and then had killed this boy Soren's parents because she didn't look and she was careless. And so she went to jail for 2 years, and then she wrote a memoir about it, became like this weird feminist self-help guru, and Tess has a lot of anger about that too. And then lo and behold, her and Soren fall in love, and it's this kind of timeless love that lasts over the years, where they're on again, off again, will they, won't they, kind of thing going on. Like, I feel like they do that in a lot of TV shows, like the main characters that have that on again, off again, that you're like, will they just ever end up together? Will it just be tragic where they just finally say goodbye because they can't hurt each other anymore, blah 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 blah. Anyways, so that's in there too, and maybe that makes the story a bit more compelling as you're going through it as well. But so Tess, she has a lot of anger towards her mother and what her mother did, and her mom moved away, her dad is still on the island, and her and Kitty left the island. Linnea stayed on the island. She is going to marry Henrik. The 3 of them never turned into Skelds. They never had to deal with the Skeld season, and a lot of times, like when this stuff happens, there's always seems to be like some tragedy that befalls, and then also the keepers sometimes end up dying, one or all of them, but they're gonna come back to the island just for a couple days for the wedding, and they get there. Tess meets up with Kitty, and they all meet up, and they're really excited to see each other because they miss each other a ton. Of course, Tess runs into Soren because Soren hasn't left the island, so that's all awkward, and Tess has a boyfriend, Noah, and Soren is with Linnea's sister, and so that's freaking weird, but there's still that underlying current of like they love each other almost eternally, and like that just never goes away. So wedding's gonna happen, but then something happens. How can I mean, this is gonna be a spoiler, and you probably know what the spoiler is gonna be, but if it didn't happen, this book, well, wouldn't be much of a book without it. So they wake up the day of Linnea's wedding, and lo and behold, Kitty, Tess, and Linnea all have the 3 marks of the Skelds on their foreheads. So they are careful. No one gets turned to stone, and they go to this tower where the Skelds before them have gone to be by themselves. They can look at each other and they're fine, but no one else can. So, and then they have their keepers as well. And the keepers they vowed to do this when they were teenagers, and they still go through with doing it. And well, Linnea's fiance, of course, Henrik, but then also Soren and Soren's brother. And then Tess is really pissed off because, she does not want to have one of them accidentally kill him and all this other stuff. And there's all this like intensity around what's happening, and just how Tess deals with her anger and trying to always fight that Stenland is the only place that really feels like home, and refusing to want to stay there and always trying to run away and trying to understand what the heck, why these other women stay there. It's like, and she's just so fearful of possibly killing the one she loves that she's just like, how do you stay when that's a risk? And is the risk worth the reward? And that's kind of what the story focuses around. And it's wonderfully beautiful. It pulled me right in. I absolutely loved it. Like this past like week, I've read some super bangers, and this one was just so random. Never heard of it, never heard of this author, no one's talked about it. Pure coincidence that I blindly stumbled across it. Like, yeah, I do find books from other booktubers' recommendations and online. I see stuff on freaking social media. This one was pure no online influence. This was just straight up like, I saw it on a shelf at the library and it was a winner. So yeah, it is a love story, but it's also like weird. So that's like checking my weird checkbox, because I really like strange, weird stories. I mean, women who can turn anyone to stone. Come on, that's weird. And I love it. And it was fantastically told. And I looked at the author picture in the back of the book. She looks really young. I don't know how old she is, but good Lord, she wrote an amazing story. So she might be older than I think she looks. I think she looks like she's in her 20s. And I was very impressed that the depth of the story that she wrote. Fantastic. If that sounds good to you, definitely check it out. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.